Hey guys, so it's below freezing this morning. It's about 30 degrees. I'm going to talk about what I feel is my 5 most important things you need to know if you want to get your concrete to set up in really cold temperatures or even below freezing temperatures. First of all, when we showed up this morning, we had to lay the plastic down, 6 mil poly. Luckily, the ground wasn't frozen. It was warm enough from the day before where there was no frost in the ground, so we could just lay the poly down and go. If the ground was frozen, like, we're not pouring. I don't even pour on an inch of frost, because what happens is you pour the concrete over it, and then slowly, the concrete during the day, that frost starts to come out if the temperatures get warm enough, or if the concrete temperature warms it up enough to kind of unthaw that ground, and then you end up with some really uneven concrete spots in your floor. So never pour on frozen ground. Now the first thing I look at when we're pouring in really cold temperatures and freezing temperatures is the cement content. And it takes cement and water, right? Causes a chemical reaction that creates heat. That's how concrete sets up, heat of hydration. So you bump up the cement a little bit, you bump up the heat a little bit in its own self, like internally in the concrete. So if we normally pour a 3,500 PSI mix all year round, in the winter, in the really cold temps, we might bump that up to 4,000 just to get a little bit higher cement content and just help the concrete set up a little bit better. That's one very small detail that a lot of people don't know, is it will help create a little bit more heat. So bump up the cement content. The other thing is to use warm water or hot water in your concrete mix. Now, I know for us in Maine, I've been pouring concrete in these temps for 45 years. All the concrete companies in Maine that stay open year-round have hot water boilers. Now, where you're from, that your company might not have a hot water boiler, so that might not even be an option to you to get, warm water or hot water. So that is definitely a critical factor with getting your concrete to set up when it's, when you're pouring when it's 30 degrees out like this. If you're pouring and you can feel the warmth in the concrete on your boots, like your feet are warm right now and not cold, that's going to be a big bonus to getting this concrete to set up. So that's what we do, depending on when the temperatures start to get cold here in Maine. It's usually sometime in October. The dispatcher will just bump on the boiler. He might start with water temps around 85, 90 to 100 degrees in the boiler, and that just shows the concrete shows up after it gets mixed up. If you put a temperature gun on it, the concrete temp might be 68 degrees when it's coming out of the chute. So that's a lot better than it being 55 or 50 degrees. If you got concrete temps that are that low, this stuff's just going to sit there and just not want to set up at all. So having some type of warm to hot water is going to create the concrete setting up process a lot faster. The third thing is I like using a water reducer. I mean, you don't want to have to get your concrete up to slump. This is probably 6.5 slump with just water itself, because that water is gonna, some of it's got to evaporate too, right? It's in the heat of hydration. The heat from the concrete itself helps it evaporate a little bit. But if you're just using water to get your concrete up to slump, that's gonna extend the set time, a heck of a lot more than if you're using a water reducer. And you only need a minimal amount of water, even if it's warm water, to get your concrete slumps good. So you can get your concrete in as fast as possible and, not kill yourself doing it. So water reducer is real critical. And all our companies in Maine have it. So for me, I just take it for granted. They just add it without me even asking them anymore. They'll put in what's called a mid-range water reducer, so you can pour up to about a 6.5. Without it hurting the strength of the concrete. If you want a looser slump, then you just ask them for high range, and they'll just bump up. And that's basically, a mid-range is basically like 15 ounces of water reducer per yard of concrete. So it's not a heck of a lot in each yard of concrete. Now, probably one of the most important things, and I think this is available to anybody no matter where you're at, is using some type of accelerator. In residential stuff, our favorite go-to accelerator is bag FLAKE calcium chloride. So, we carry around 50-pound bags The concrete companies have 50-pound bags if you want them to bring it. We always bring our own just in case. We do ask for it on the truck, but occasionally, a driver might forget it, or maybe somehow it actually falls off the truck onto the road. And if the truck shows up without it and you've already put it in another truck, there's going to be a huge difference in setup time. So we always bring our own bags. We'll bring 2 or 3 bags with us just in case. That really, I feel like the FLAKE calcium definitely works a lot better than the liquid stuff that they put in at the concrete plant. The trouble with putting your accelerator in at the concrete plant, like, there's all kinds of variables, right? What if the truck breaks down? He's sitting on the side of the road. What if he gets pulled over and has to get weighed for weight? It's just that stuff's setting up in there, right? You've already added the accelerator, so it's setting up inside the drum. And the concrete's not going to be any warmer anywhere else but in the drum. Once you dump it out on the ground, it starts losing heat. So it's going to set up quicker as it's in the drum than it is when you lay it out like this. And what if one driver, and here's what happens a lot, what if one concrete driver spins his drum a lot faster on the way to the job than the other guy does? The faster they spin the drum on the way to the job, the quicker that concrete's going to set up. So if you've got liquid accelerator in the truck already, his load's going to set up twice as fast as the other guy's load. So we like just adding it right on site, and that's why we use the FLAKE. And I've found, look, I've been using that for 45 years. Ever since I've started doing this, I've been using FLAKE with no problems, none, no problems in the concrete, whether there's wire in it or rebar in it or anything else, right? We've always used it without any problems at all, at least none that I've ever heard of. So you'd think I would have heard of something by now if it was creating problems. We're not overusing it, but accelerator in the concrete when the temps are below freezing like this just really gives it a kickstart to finishing. I'll tell you what happened with this one here, the finishing with this one here in a minute. And then the fifth thing, this is kind of a bonus, but it's a really expensive one, but it probably helps the concrete set up twice as fast than what we're doing here today, is if you can have styrofoam underneath the concrete, whether it's 1 inch of styrofoam or 2 inches of styrofoam, that's going to help hold that heat in the concrete. Right now, the cold ground that we're pouring on is sucking the heat out of the bottom of the concrete. So the bottom of that concrete's not going to dry anywhere near as fast as the top, especially if the sun hits the top of this thing. And that's going to create some finishing problems down the road, but it does really slow the set pouring on a cold sub base. So having the styrofoam underneath it accelerates the finish. We found like twice as much. And we know that because in Maine, it's for most jobs that are a certain size, this one's under that size, but if they're over a certain square footage, the state requires 2 inches of styrofoam under the slab. So we pour on top of styrofoam all the time, and then when we don't, we see a huge difference in the set times. So those 5 things to me are really, really important. So the cement content, bump it up a little bit. If you can get warm or hot water, ask for that. Water reducer, use an accelerator, and then if you can pour on styrofoam, your concrete's going to set up really good. And another thing the styrofoam does is it protects, if you live in freeze-thaw area like we do, it protects the frost from getting through the concrete into the ground below it and then heaving the ground below it. It works really good for doing that. We don't have any trouble with slabs heaving or anything like that. If everything's done correctly, the gravel and all that, putting styrofoam under it, you're not going to run into the ground heaving. And then when you're done, okay, so let's talk about what happened today. So me and Luke, I'm on the left, Luke's way over on the right, Darren's in the middle. Me and Luke left Darren here to finish this by himself, and we went and worked on an epoxy coating on another job probably an hour away. So Darren, we could feel, as we was bull floating, you could start feeling this stuff starting to set up a little bit. Remember I said warm water, accelerator, water reducer, all those factors play a key, right? So initially, this stuff started to kick off pretty good because it was still warm. And then after we left, this is like 7:30 in the morning right here. We're done pouring. After we left, the concrete's sitting out here. It's still, temperature's still below freezing right now. It's early in the morning. There's basically very little to no sun on this. A lot of it's in the shade. A lot of it's going to stay in the shade today. the concrete starts to cool off. Even though this thing's, you know, between 5 and 6 inches thick, it starts cooling off really quick. And then what Darren said, after we got done talking to him here later tonight on this day, is he said the stuff just died right off, and he never even got on it to start finishing until 11 o'clock in the morning. Even with all the stuff I just talked about, it was 11 a.m. before he even started to finish. And then by the time he was done, you know, it was 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he got a nice finish on it and could get a couple of saw joints in it. So he did get it done in a decent amount of time. But normally, if this thing had styrofoam under it, it would have been done by probably 1 in the afternoon, easily 1 o'clock in the afternoon, even if it stayed in the shade like this. So that's what happens to your concrete when it's really cold outside. And then, you know, it's going to get below freezing again tonight. You can't just leave this stuff unprotected. Like, you got to protect it somehow, whether you put some plastic down, throw some hay over it. That's going to help it cure. It's going to help hold the heat in the concrete a little bit better. Or you use just concrete blankets, you know, cover it up really good. Put some 2x4s over the top of the blanket so they don't blow off. Leave them on for a few days so this stuff can cure up before, you know, it's nowhere near strong enough to take some freeze and thaw cycles without some damage happening to the surface. And what you definitely don't want to happen is any type of moisture, whether it's rain, freezing rain, snow, getting on the surface of this after it's finished and then freezing to the surface for, you know, 3 weeks anyway. 3 or 4 weeks would be best. So you got to try to keep it covered and then keep the surface dry so it can cure up and get strong enough to be able to handle that type of stuff. But the first night is really the most important. Put some blankets on it, get it covered, take the time to do that, and you should be good. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you're new to my channel, you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Plus, put new sub down in the comments and you'll be entered in to wear some of the gear we wear, some of the hoodies, t-shirts, the hats and stuff like that. I'm going to have a couple other videos about pouring concrete in cold weather pop up here at the end of this video. So, you know, make sure you check those out. I got a lot of videos about pouring concrete in cold weather that's going to help you guys understand more about how to get your concrete to set up, especially if you're going to be power troweling it and you want a nice finish. Now this looks like a little, I don't know what this garage is going to be used for, if it's like a little boathouse, kind of a long, narrow type of thing. But it's going to need a nice finish on it, right? And a lot of these garage floors like this, like we do epoxy coatings on a lot of these too. And that reminds me, like if you want to learn how to do this stuff I'm doing, pouring, finishing concrete, epoxy coating, stamp concrete, all that stuff, you can join the Concrete Underground. That's my training area. I got a link for that down in the description. Or if it's just like a one-off thing, if it's just one thing you need to learn, like how to do a slab or just how to do a piece of stamped concrete, I got separate courses for that. You could buy that and you'll have those for life. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments about this job, about what we're talking about here, if you got anything to add about what I said. And then make sure you check these 2 videos out coming up right here.